What did it cost?
Everything.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the greatest moments from every film under the Marvel Cinematic Universe banner so far. From Iron Man all the way to Thunderbolts. Get ready for spoilers aplenty.
Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland.
Suit up, Iron Man.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Once a billionaire playboy philanthropist, Tony Stark's life is turned on its head after he's kidnapped, imprisoned, and forced to see what his death merchant lifestyle has brought upon the world. His first step towards redemption, gearing up in his new armored attire and taking down the 10 Rings terrorist group. Arriving with one hell of a bang, we get our first taste as what the armored Avenger can really do. We will never get tired of watching Tony take the tank to task. Smash the Incredible Hulk.
You don't deserve this power. Now watch your death!
The not-so-jolly Green Giant's first outing in the MCU may not have been his highlight, but his final bout with the Abomination at least made for the best kind of CGI fistfight. Despite Emil Blancy's mutated form seemingly getting the better of Hulk thanks to his abundance of bony protrusions, the Hulk isn't about to lose in a contest of strength. We only get to hear the Gamma Rage machine speak once in this flick outside of his typical screams, and the results literally brings down the house.
Any last words? Hulk! Smash!
Suit up ×2. Iron Man 2.
Tony, don't be jealous.
No, it's subtle, all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's called being a badass.
Fine.
Double the Iron Man requires double the explosions, and that's exactly what we got when both Tony and Rhodey are set upon by Whiplash's legion of killer mechs. Naturally, a lot of things go boom. While Iron Man goes wild with the repulsor blast, War Machine shreds through every robot in his way with countless armaments. The finale against Whiplash in its own personalized armor might be a tad disappointing, but getting to see one of the MCU's biggest bromances kick ass together always makes for a fun watch.
Get down!
Unworthy Thor. Calling down the lightning, battling frost giants, and showcasing his stunning physique may all be par for the course with the God of Thunder. But by far the most captivating aspect of his cinematic debut was the borderline Shakespearean tragedy woven between himself and his family. This is especially potent following Thor's bullheaded decision to attack the frost giant realm.
You'd stand giving speeches while Asgard falls.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy!
And you are an old man and a fool!
Enraged, heartbroken, and disappointed, Odin decides to teach his firstborn some humility in typical Asgardian fashion by stripping away his power, exiling him to Earth, and forcing him to prove himself worthy should he ever wish to reclaim his former station.
You are unworthy of these realms. You're unworthy of your title. You're unworthy of the loved ones you have betrayed.
Anthony Hopkins kills it in this scene, bringing true depth to the head of a broken family who just happen to be Norse deities. Taller, Captain America, the first Avenger.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
Steve Rogers is nothing more than a skinny kid from Brooklyn who only wants to do the right thing, despite being constantly rejected because of his diminutive stature. That is, until his noble spirits earn him the chance to undergo the super soldier experiment. It's here that Steve goes from petite to an absolute unit, his physique now reflecting his strength of character.
How'd you feel?
Taller.
The only thing better than seeing Steve react to his new build is Peggy unable to stop herself from going in for a touch. The world's greatest heroes, the Avengers. While it may seem arbitrary to today's standards, having the likes of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and the rest appearing together in live action was nothing more than a dream scenario for many a comic fan. And it's in this glorious shot that this scenario is made manifest in the most epic way possible. As the Battle of New York gets underway, The only ones standing in the way of Loki's domination are the MCU's original 6, emphasized by this now iconic one-shot and monumental score. This is when the Avengers truly united, and what a sight it is.
And Hulk. Smash.
Air Force One, Iron Man 3. The reveal of the Mandarin's true identity may have caused some controversy for some, but Tony Stark's third solo outing still had plenty of killer action scenes, the most thrilling among them being when Air Force One comes under attack.
How many in the air?
13, sir.
How many can I carry?
4, sir.
With civilians dropping out of the sky, it falls to Iron Man to save them, despite there being no time to spare and too many souls to ferry to safety. Thankfully, Tony's mind moves a million miles a minute and is able to get the flailing passengers to form a human chain to ensure everyone's survival.
I'll electrify your arm. You won't be able to open your hand. We can do this, Heather. Easy.
Now that's falling with style. Bound by grief, Thor: The Dark World. The fractured relationship between Thor and Loki has always been one of the most compelling aspects of the God of Thunder's mythos, and this is especially true during their confrontation following the death of their mother Frigga. In order to pursue the Dark Elves responsible for her murder and stop them from pursuing the mystical powers of the Ether, Thor seeks out the assistance of his imprisoned, nefarious sibling.
Loki, enough. No more illusions.
It's here we get to see that in spite of his ambition and misdeeds, Loki still deeply loved his mother, something that no illusion can hide. The banter and baggage between the two proved to be the Dark World's most compelling storylines.
You betray me, and I will kill you.
When do we start?
One we're always happy to revisit: The Elevator, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This spy thriller truly raised the bar for MCU projects going forward, showcasing that all genres were on the table.
I'm sorry about what happened with Fury. Messed up what happened to him.
Thank you.
And while we adore the political espionage of seeing Cap try to uncover Hydra's lingering corruption, as well as Bucky's sudden revival, there's no denying that watching him take on an elevator full of sleeper agents is the definition of badass.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped inside a tiny space, Steve Rogers still walks away the winner, showcasing that the term super soldier isn't just a moniker. Dance Battle, Guardians of the Galaxy. This interstellar ragtag group of misfits won hearts everywhere with an outrageous sense of humor and sense of found family, all of which culminated in them taking on the might of Ronan the Accuser. How do you take down a zealot with the power to destroy a planet? Simple. You challenge him to a dance-off.
Someday, put it together.
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
The sight of Peter Quill busting a move to distract Ronan, all before the whole thing into a heart-rending clash over the Power Stone, is beautifully handled, making us laugh, weep, and cheer in a single scene as the Guardians prove once and for all they were more than worthy for stepping into the MCU pantheon.
You're immortal. How?
Said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hulk vs. Hulkbuster, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Given that he's always smashing up bad guys, it can be easy to forget that a Hulk that's left off the leash is a terrifying prospect. One that Wanda makes a reality as she uses her witchy powers to set the Jade Giant on a destructive spree. The only thing that can stop it? Iron Man in a suit of armor specifically designed to bring the Hulk to heel.
Right. Don't mention puny Banner.
It's a brutal back and forth with no shortage of collateral damage. And while it's a visual spectacle, it's clear nobody leaves this little scuffle a winner. Pick on someone your own size. Ant-Man.
There you are.
Daddy, is that you?
Hi, Peanut. Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
Nobody would have guessed that Ant-Man, of all people, could enthrall audiences. But throw in Paul Rudd, make it a heist movie, and go all in on the wonder of having a hero who can shift his size to the molecular level, and you've got a fun time had by all. This is especially true of the climax, as Scott Lang takes on his newfound nemesis Darren Cross in a literal battle of proportions. The creativity on display as both Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket utilize their size-changing tech is next level, using the Child's Playroom as their battleground to great effect. Small scale, big impact.
I love you, Cassie.
Airport Showdown, Captain America Civil War.
All right, I've run out of patience. On to ruse!
When it comes to superhero versus superhero brawls, nothing matches the awe-inspiring spectacle of having Team Iron Man take on Team Cap, both fighting for what they believe to be the right thing, both unable to back down. With an airport as their battleground, we are greeted to the sight of our favorite Avengers punching it out, with none giving an inch. Throw in the awesome introduction of the MCU's version of Spider-Man and Black Panther, and you've got yourself a fight to remember.
What do we do, Cap?
We fight.
The choreography is top-notch, the banter effortlessly flows, and the fact that everyone gets a moment to shine is just another layer to this magnificent cake. The bargain, Doctor Strange.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
You've come to die.
The reality-bending magical exploits of the Sorcerer Supreme wowed us when he phased into the MCU. And while the visual exploits found in the mirror dimension and astral projection scenes were captivating, what truly hooked us was nothing more than Stephen Strange's unfettered willpower. Facing off against the insidious being known as Dormammu, Strange proposes a bargain before being swiftly killed, only to return and start the conversation all over again. As it happens, Strange had locked the two of them in a loop, trapping himself and Dormammu in the same fragment of time repeatedly, the only price being the countless deaths he has to suffer. And yet, his determination wins out. How's that for a flex?
Take your zealots from the Earth. End your assault on my world. Never come back. Do it, and I'll break the loop.
Father and Son, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Peter Quill's parentage had been a mystery that many had speculated on, only for it to come to a head in the sequel when it was revealed that he was the offspring of Ego the Living Planet. Things quickly turned sour when it was revealed that in his desire for power, Ego gave Peter's mother terminal cancer.
It broke my heart to put that tumor in her head.
What?
While Star-Lord may have been forced to destroy his biological father, he's swiftly saved by Yondu, the man who actually raised him and cares for him like a son, who in turn sacrifices himself so Peter can live.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
In the space of a few minutes, Peter loses two fathers, and the results are heartbreaking. Identities, Spider-Man Homecoming. The Wallcrawler's foray into the MCU was everything we could have wanted, though its most impactful scene was wholly unexpected.
He must be Peter.
Yeah.
Unless his dad. Put her there.
En route to pick up his homecoming date Liz, Peter meets her father outside their home, who is revealed to be Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture. There's barely any time to process this revelation before Toomes in real time starts to deduce that his daughter's date is none other than Spider-Man. The tension, the build-up, Toomes' final warning, it all makes for a harrowing night for Peter, and one of the first true sacrifices he makes when he chooses to take responsibility instead of the easy way out. There's meeting your girlfriend's daddy for the first time, and then there's this.
And don't you ever interfere with my business again. Because if you do, I'll kill you and everybody you love. I'll kill you dead.
The God of Thunder, Thor Ragnarok. While arguably the funniest in the entire roster of MCU flicks, that's not to say Thor's third outing wasn't also interwoven with some deeply heartfelt moments. Case in point, Thor reuniting with his deceased father Odin while on the cusp of defeat at the hands of his murderous sister Hela.
I'm not as strong as you.
No. You're stronger.
Following some wise words from his dearly departed All-Father, Thor literally brings the thunder, unleashing the divine power that he's held inside all along. And yes, the moment is made all the grander thanks to the inclusion of Led Zeppelin's immigrant song, Battle for the Throne, Black Panther. After ascending to the throne of Wakanda, it doesn't take T'Challa long before he finds his home under dire threat, both foreign and domestic, including that of mercenary extraordinaire Killmonger, who also happens to be his long-lost cousin.
I never yielded! And as you can see, I am not dead!
After barely surviving their first encounter and making peace with the fact that Wakanda cannot ignore the plight of the rest of the world any longer, T'Challa returns to claim his throne, take down the insurgency, and put a stop to Killmonger for good. Between taking on legions of traitor warriors by himself, the Dora Milaje strutting their stuff, as well as the appearance of armored war rhinos, the finale was unrelenting.
Your heart is so full of hatred, you are not fit to be a king!
Come on. The Snap, Avengers Infinity War. There have been few cinematic phenomena that has held as much resonance as the moment when Thanos claimed absolute victory over the Avengers, and all it took was a snap of his fingers.
You should have gone for the head.
The character of Thanos had long been built up behind the scenes, and when it was time for him to take the stage, he didn't hold back. Through sacrifice and brutality, the Mad Titan achieved his goal of collecting the 6 Infinity Stones. And while the Avengers fought valiantly to stop him during the Battle of Wakanda, they ultimately failed in their attempts to prevent him from decimating half of all life in the universe.
I don't feel so good.
An act that is still being felt to this day across the MCU's landscape. Truth Serum, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Far more lighthearted in tone, Ant-Man and Wasp's attempt to stop the violent actions of the Ghost were fun, for the most part. But the ones who really stole the show were Luis and his merry band of miscreants. While being interrogated by criminal Sonny Burch, Luis is injected with Truth Serum, where he proceeds to go on quite the series of tangents.
It's all like that fancy raspberry filling represents a company's red, and we're days away from going out of business. Oh! Out of business. Days away? Damn, Truth Serum!
Hilarious, fast-paced, and culminating in the always hilarious Baba Yaga scare, we couldn't get enough of these lovable idiots.
Well, where is Scott Lang? Literally speaking!
Oh, the woods.
The woods?
Getting back up, Captain Marvel. Upon learning that she had been kidnapped and indoctrinated into becoming a Kree soldier, Carol Danvers locks in to take down the ruthless Supreme Intelligence along with Nick Fury and a band of Skrull rebels. Not that it proves to be an easy task, as the collective hive mind wastes little time in degrading and restraining Carol and making her see flashbacks of all the times she's failed in her past.
Without us, you're weak. You're flawed. Helpless. We saved you.
This proves to be a double-edged sword, however, as it also brings to the forefront all the times that Carol chose to stand up throughout her life, unbinding her Kree restrictions in the process and unleashing the full force of her dormant powers.
I've been fighting with one arm tied behind my back. But what happens when I'm finally set free?
Assemble, Avengers Endgame. While we're sure the likes of Doomsday and Secret Wars will try their darnest as it stands, there's not been a final confrontation across the Marvel landscape as epic as the Avengers and their allies take on Thanos and his army.
Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
The entire sequence is superhero fanfare at its highest. With the snap undone, all those that were lost return to rally to Captain America's side as he leads a final charge against the Mad Titan for the future of Earth, though not before letting loose the now iconic call to arms.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Illusion, Spider-Man Far From Home. Following the devastating loss of his mentor and father figure Tony Stark after the results of Endgame, Peter Parker is in a pretty poor place. That is until newcomer superhero Mysterio enters the picture, acting as a confidant and friend. Until we find out that, surprise, Mysterio is a trickster looking to use Peter to get his hands on some serious Stark tech.
I know this isn't real.
Do you though?
This leads to one of the wildest and most haunting scenes in the MCU today, with Mysterio using his illusions to trap Spider-Man in a nightmare scenario, berating him for his failures. The zombie Iron Man still gives us the heebie-jeebies.
If you were good enough, maybe Tony would still be alive.
Birth of a Widow, Black Widow. Natasha's solo outing may have been slightly dampened due to being released post-Endgame, but that doesn't take away from how the opening sequence is surprisingly hard-hitting. Through snippets of photos and footage, we see how the future Widow was taken as a child and trained as an assassin, from her training in the Red Room to the various killings she committed during her prime as a weapon for her government. Tying a bow on the whole morbid affair is that the entire sequence is backed by a harrowing version of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's the best kind of dark. Bust Brawl, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. When it comes to raw physicality and the fluidity of its fight scenes, you'd be hard-pressed to find an MCU movie that did it better than Shang-Chi.
You have the wrong guy. Does he look like he can fight? Come on, bro.
Cornered by the 10 rings on a moving bus, the unassuming Shan suddenly reveals that not only can he fight, he can throw down with the best of them. Even as the bus cascades down the hill and he's dealing with a merc with a burning blade for an arm, Shang-Chi expertly disarms and decimates every foe in his path. It's a brilliant piece of action even outside of comic book movies, and quickly established that no matter the environment, Shang-Chi is a man not to be trifled with.
Sorry. We make a good team.
Judgment, Eternals. Say what you will about this film as a whole, the arrival of this crimson cosmic colossus is damn impressive in both scale and presentation.
An infinite cycle of creation and destruction. Celestials use energy gathered from host planets to create suns, generating gravity, heat, and light for new galaxies to form.
As a race of super beings whose purpose revolves around the creation and destruction of whole galaxies, the Celestials are not to be messed with, and Erishim is the deadliest of them all. Following the Eternals' dealings with the Deviants, Erishim arrives to snatch up the remaining members, forewarning that judgment will someday come to Earth, before casually piecing out via black hole. Now that's a Celestial who knows how to make an exit.
I will spare them, but your memories will show if they are worthy to live. And I will return for judgment.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home. The very notion that we could have 3 generations of Spider-Man sharing the silver screen together for an extended amount of time sounds farcical. That is, until this threequel made it a reality.
Yeah, I can take it. No, I can take it.
You are amazing.
I can take it.
You are amazing.
Thank you, yeah, thanks.
Will you say it?
No, I kind of needed to hear that. Thank you.
After accidentally messing up one of Doctor Strange's spells in an effort to erase the world's knowledge of his secret identity, the MCU's Peter Parker finds himself battling classic Spidey villains from alternate universes, inevitably leading him to team up with his counterparts. The chemistry and camaraderie on display between the likes of Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire's version of the characters is palpable. Just seeing them 3 of them casually talk about what it means to be Spider-Man, their loves, their losses, their greatest hits, this was every fan's dream scenario.
Peter 1, Peter 2.
Peter 2.
Peter 3.
Peter 3.
All right, let's do this.
Let's
Ready?
go. Wait.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
Death of the Illuminati, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The Scarlet Witch's turn to the dark side brought with it all kinds of chaos across a number of various universes, but no scene was bloodier or packed more of a punch than her systematic elimination of the Illuminati. Untethered due to the influence of the Darkhold, Wanda takes on the might of Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Captain Carter, Black Bolt, and Captain Marvel.
I have children of my own. I understand your pain.
Is their mother still alive?
Yes.
Good. There will be someone left to raise them.
And slaughters each of them in some of the most brutal ways an MCU film has dared displayed.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
What mouth?
Nothing's more dangerous than a grieving mother on a warpath. Deicide, Thor, Love and Thunder. It may have leaned too far into the comedy. It may have been too silly for its own good at times. But what Love and Thunder excelled at was establishing its villain, Gore the God Butcher, played to perfection as always by Christian Bale. After his daughter dies from lack of sustenance while his chosen deity openly feasts with little regard for his worshippers, Gore snaps.
But my lord, your empire has already ended. There's no one left to worship you.
There'll be more followers to replace you. There always are.
Using the power of All Black the Necro Sword, Gore promises to slay every god he comes across. And to be honest, can't really blame him for taking up such a barbaric crusade.
Feels like a promise. So this is my vow. All gods will die.
The Funeral, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Your brother is with the ancestors.
As both a tribute to the character and the actor, The Funeral for T'Challa hits twice as hard. Not only are we saying goodbye to such an integral and beloved character, but the man who brought him to life. The Funeral Procession is a masterwork when it comes to showcasing the grief of T'Challa's family, the beauty of Wakanda's tradition, and an outlet for fans to say goodbye to Chadwick Boseman. Between the design, the music, and watching Shuri and Queen Ramonda struggle to cope with such an immense loss, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't well up at such a beautiful send-off. The Probability Storm, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. There was certainly a lot to dislike about Quantumania, especially in retrospect. But given it took place in the quantum realm, it certainly had some neat visuals to its name, and none were more outstanding than when Ant-Man was forced to retrieve Kang's power core, only to be caught in the middle of a probability storm.
What is this place? It's a probability storm. Every choice you could make existing all at once.
What's he saying?
For every possible consequence, a new version of Scott is spawned, eventually creating a vortex of chaos, confusion, and an infinite number of Paul Rudds. Thankfully, the single-minded determination to save his daughter along with a little help from the Wasp allowed him to escape before the rest of the movie could become interesting.
Hope, are you real?
I'm real.
Rocket's Past, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Is Sky? No. That's not Sky. That's a ceiling.
It was no secret that Rocket Raccoon did not have a happy childhood. We just didn't expect it to be this upsetting. As a creation of the High Evolutionary, Rocket was a prisoner with a brilliant mind, whose only solace was in his 3 fellow experiments, especially Lila. A bold decision to break free ends up going awry as the High Evolutionary ends up gunning down all of Rocket's companions. The sight of a younger, more vulnerable Rocket breaking down over the loss of the only family he had will honestly shatter you, and making it all too understandable why Rocket has such a cynical view of life.
Sky.
Triple Threat, The Marvels. Well, we certainly weren't going to list the singing planet.
You're forgetting something.
What? Me.
As has always been the case with most things related to Captain Marvel, the brightest spot has always been the inclusion of Miss Marvel. Watching the fangirl turned superhero from New Jersey get to finally interact with her idol was nothing but charming. Made all the better when they, along with Monica Rambeau, take down the Kree villain Dar-Benn. It's a brief scuffle, but getting to see the trio showcase their powers in sync makes for a sweet spectacle. Like a Prayer, Deadpool and Wolverine. Having the likes of Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine team up has been on every comic fan's bucket list, though we doubt any expected the final results to be this incredible. Not only were the jokes hard-hitting and self-deprecating, but the emotional payoff was sublime. After fighting their way through the void and back to their reality, Wade and Logan come under siege by members of the Deadpool Corps, leaving them no choice but to team up and go full berserker rage.
You save the good stuff for special occasions?
Killing mostly.
We're not sure what's more awesome, seeing these two work in perfect sync as they mutilate every Deadpool variant in sight, or getting to see Wolverine don his iconic mask while Madonna's Like a Prayer heralds the film's best fight scene. But what we do know is, woo, they're about to make a name for themselves.
Maximum effort.
Seeing red. Captain America, Brave New World.
Since when were they red?
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is a man not to be trifled with. A military general turned president who has had his influence felt throughout multiple major incidents in the MCU's canon, only for him to take on a much more direct approach when he's unintentionally turned into the Red Hulk for all to see. This proves to be one hell of a matchup for the new Captain America, who has to fend off Ross's newfound strength all by his lonesome. It's a brief yet awesome skirmish, with Sam showing that while he may not have Steve's super serum, he does have his unyielding spirit.
You want me? Come and get me!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
The Void, Thunderbolts, the new Avengers. Just when you thought fighting against the MCU's version of Superman was a tall order, things go from bad to apocalyptic when Bob, aka the Sentry, is consumed by his mental anguish, which triggers the embodiment of his trauma known as the Void to surface.
I am the Void.
Who in turn starts banishing everyone in New York to the Shadow Realm. Determined to save him, both Yelena and the remainder of the Thunderbolts take the plunge to try and rescue Bob from himself, only to find that once you enter the Void, you're forced to face your guilt, shame, and the worst aspects of yourself on loop. The way in which everyone fights to bring Bob back to light while confronting their demons not only made for a thrilling climax, but spoke to topics of depression, isolation, and mental health with beautiful clarity.
We can't stalk him alone. No one can.
Which MCU moments remains the MVP in your mind? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more WatchMojo videos.
Father.